and welcome to Sports Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbe, standing in for Toyin Ibitoye. And of course, on the show tonight, we will be talking about the Nigerian Professional Football League and also what is happening currently in WADA. Russia, of course, they are in trouble. Most of their athletes may not be taking part at the Rio 20 Olympic Games. Talking about track and field event, if whatever happens, whatever WADA had to do to actually ensure that, well, doping is actually out of the sport. And also we'll be talking about, well, Aimba, they are the champions, and also on the 17th, that's the Golden Eaglets, of course, they are still celebrating. They should be back in the country on Wednesday. And also the the Falconet also, they are through to, well, let's just say they are in the World Cup again, 2016. Of course, they will be representing Africa again. And also on the show, we'll be looking at what is happening at Scrabble, a situation whereby you're having the first African in Nigeria to win that World Championship in Perth, Australia. And of course, on the show today, you guys know how you can be part of the program on Twitter handle and of course on Facebook, and of course how you can also watch the show on our various devices and all that, talking about watching on Android, iPad, BlackBerry, and all that. That's how you can actually join us on the program on Facebook, channels_sport, of course on Twitter, channels_sport, and of course my own Twitter handle. You can also follow us there and just send us your messages. We definitely read it out. Of course, that's how you can watch us wherever you are across the world, YouTube, and of course on Android, iPad, iPhone, BlackBerry, wherever you are, you can watch us live across the world. Okay, now let's get started on the show. I have two guests in the house, of course, which is in the house, and Toby Adepoju is also in the house this evening. Well, good to have you guys.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Okay, it's strange me sitting here, right?
I'm trying to get used to it, but you know, like we have in the country, everything is changing.
Okay. All right. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you so much.
Toby, good to have you.
Yeah, good to be here. It was a lovely weekend here for Nigerian. Good Eaglet won the Falconet, Silver World Cup ticket, and then in the MPFL, Aimba emerged champions in the 7th title, first title since 2010. It was a great atmosphere to see close to 40,000 fans, cheer Aimba, to that victorious moment. So I think it was a great weekend for Nigerian football. A
lot definitely to talk about. And another one, we're looking at the situation whereby a Wellington Jihere actually became the first African, of course, a black African, of course, a Nigerian, to emerge champion, talking about the World Scrabble Championship. Yeah,
you're right, Cecilia. And, these are the kind of sports we refer to as lesser sports, but they are bringing us so much glory. And, with little or no support from the federation, from the country, everybody's taking the glory now. And like you said, the lad beat Louis Mackay, 4-0. And like you also said, he's the first player from Africa to ever win the World Championship. And his story is so instructive. He has been Nigeria's best player for a very long time. In 2007, he was just one game away from winning the same World Championship in Mumbai. Then in 2010, I also learned he had issues with the Scrabble Federation. In fact, he retired. He said he wouldn't play Scrabble again. Obviously because of lack of support and all those issues. Then later on, he won the African title in Nairobi, in Kenya. Then 2 years later, I think in 2012, he also retained his title in Ghana. So it's a story of
progress,
ups
steady,
and downs, but he has shown resilience. And that's what we'll be talking about, that whatever you do as a sportsman or woman, you have issues, along the line, but remain focused. At the time he also went to serve, he did his national youth service and returned to the game, and he's getting so much accolades, to the extent that the president of the country, President Muhammad Buhari, personally called him to congratulate him. And what more honor can you get from what you are doing?
Yeah, so much. And of course, for him to be able to get to that final, it was 4 games in a round of seven. Yeah. And you also have other members of the team. You have Ayorinde Seidu, you have Karo Eta, Emmanuel Mujose, Otehere Onota, and of course Cyril. Omebi, who happens to be the team captain. About 6 players actually traveled for that tournament. The youth players couldn't travel because they had visa issues. And of course, most of the officials couldn't also travel. Even the president of that federation couldn't travel with the team for the tournament. Well, the significance of this feat is the fact that Nigeria will definitely have more athletes actually more players going for the next edition in France, which is in 2017. So that's a huge one for Nigeria there, and hopefully they can actually build on this one, and Scrabble will be another sport that can be well celebrated, just like football, because everyone right now is celebrating it, right?
Yeah, really. Kudos to this guy. Congratulations to Wellington. Despite you just talk about the challenges, living Nigerian, down to where the tournament was held. They had traveling issues, a lot of issues. The youth team could not even make it. You mentioned some dignitaries could not even make it, but they really overcome that. And they were very brave, and they really did well for themselves. I imagine as champions, first time an African will get to this level. I think it's something really, really worth celebrating. And just like Oye said, the president, also really appreciate this, for bringing glamour to the country. And he has earned himself about $10,000 more, more richer. It's something good. It's all about sport. It's not about football alone. It's all about taking care of other sports. These are sports that can bring success to the country, that can pull joys on millions of Nigerians. A lot of people are Scrabble fans, and they will be excited to see this guy dominate the world event.
Yeah, definitely. He's 36 years old, and of course for him is a huge boost. Now from there, not too happy one, the wheelchair basketball. They went to Algeria thinking, okay, they can get any of the ticket, male or female. By the end of the day, the host nation, Algeria, actually got with both a ticket. Now for Nigeria, they lost to Algeria 38-25 in the semi-finals. Of course, for the men also lost their own. They just couldn't get it. Algeria beating South Africa in the women's event by 60-47, and of course for the men 74-62. At the end of the day, the Algerians, the host nation, actually went away with all the ticket to Olympics.
They picked the ticket to Rio Olympics. I think the good thing is that our sportsmen and women, as far as this sport is concerned, went to Algeria to take part. What it means is that they are going to rub shoulders with the best in Africa. They could bring back some lessons, especially the officials, going forward. You see, some of Algeria that got to the Olympics, when you look at the facilities, the wheelchair that they use for that tournament, I think is of top quality. These are the things we should be talking about. We have, the personnel, we have the guys, the men and women to take about, they need special facilities. And, this is where government should come into play. This is where, private sectors should also help these guys. They have resorted not to beg like some of their contemporaries. They want to be useful to the society, and we need to encourage them. Let us not just say because they didn't pick the ticket to Rio, it's all over for them. I think it should be a continuous